Chapter 3D looks at investigating the association between two numerical variables. Now, whenever we have two numerical variables, we always compare them using a scatterplot. Now, it's important to note that in every case where we're using a scatterplot, the explanatory variable is on the x-axis, which is the horizontal one. And the response variable is on the y-axis, which is the vertical one. So we'll look something like this. We've got our horizontal x-axis here, which is our explanatory variable, and our vertical or y-axis here, which is our response variable. Each point on a scatterplot represents a single coordinate or case. So for example, if I notch some marks off here, if that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say this is going up by tens. If I put a point here, its coordinate is 4, 20. And that's because we always label the x coordinate first, or the explanatory variable first. So that's our 4, whatever the y-axis or response variable number is. So that is 420. Now let's look at an example on how to create a scatterplot in your calculator. So we're comparing two numerical variables here. So we're going to need to know how to make the scatterplot. Using these instructions here, we're first going to go to statistics. Now, it is more important now than ever to rename your lists, because you need to know which one is your response variable and which one is your explanatory variable, because they're going to have to go on, you're going to have to choose them for your x and y axes. So let's rename one of them to hours, and this one can be rate. Now we just need to enter the data that's given here. So in the hours column, I'm going to enter all these values in. Then enter the ones for rate. Now it is important to know that 35 is paired up with 26. 43 is paired up with 20. So you need to make sure that you're doing them in order, because these are coordinates. So the 43 needs to match up with the 20. The 50 needs to match up with the 1, just like it does here. So the ordering is very important. Now that we've entered the data, we want to hit this button, which is here, and it brings this up. So we want the type to be scatter. The X list is going to be our explanatory variable. Now for this one, we're going to choose university participation rate, because we think that the university participation rate of students will predict how many hours they work per week. So therefore our y coordinate, or our response variable, is the hours. We leave frequency as 1 and mark as square, and then hit set. Now we need to hit this button, which is up here. And that has given us the scatter plot. So we've got this scatter plot data here. Now, if we want to view what these particular coordinates are, we do have our list here that we can work off. Otherwise, we can hit the XY button, which is this one here. And then just use our D-pad. So we can go through each one. Now what it's doing is it's going down the list rather than going from left to right. So it looks like it's going all over the place, but it's just going down the list, and you'll see that these aren't in order, which is why it looks like it's going all over the place. We'll run through one more example on how to enter these into your calculator. We've got the average test score of 7 students and their exam scores here. Now, because these are both numerical variables, we're going to have to put it into a scatter plot. So we go statistics, I'm going to clear these. We need to rename them so we know what we're talking about. We can name our first one test and the next one exam. Now we just need to enter our values in. Now that we've entered our data, we hit this button here to bring up our dialog box. We've got scatter. Now, the explanatory variable is going to be the average test score, because we're trying to see if the average test score can predict the exam score. So our explanatory variable is the test score, and the response variable is the exam score. Frequency is 1, markers square, hit set. Then this button, which is this one, gives us the scatter plot. And again, if we wanted to view individual points, we can hit this button and scroll through them.